Very nice breakfast today from our new vendor, Pure Defense Pest Solution. Always needed a great pest man, both for termite letters, termite looks during due diligence, actually pest control, actually they get critters too. If you ever owned a home, you probably got a critter. So, Don, why don't you guys come up and real quick tell us about your services. Always nice to have not only pest guys, but nicely dressed pest guys. In golf shirts, yeah. Won't scare your clients there. All right. Take it away, guys.
Hey, so I'm Don with Pure Defense. This is Dustin. He's the wildlife manager. I'm the sales manager. I just wanted to bring this realtor card over to you guys. If you're interested in getting more of these, just give me some business cards. You can put these in your closing package. It's a free service, free mosquito service, free inspection. So it's totally, we cover that, and then you know, we know our service is great, so we'll get the business after we go over there and provide it. So you guys can get as many of these as you want. I just need your information so I can get them all over to you. And so all the products we're using are pet and kid friendly. We're treating the inside garage, basement, attic, foundation. We're de-webbing up to 25 feet around the exterior to de-web the house as well. And then, like I said, one full yard mosquito service. The product's good for 30 days. Dustin's going to talk really briefly about wildlife.
Yeah, there's probably a lot of times that you're in the process of negotiating things and you notice, your home inspector noticed a lot of things in the attic, whether it be droppings, tunnels in the insulation, gaps, things like that. We specialize in sealing up the entire roof line, points of entry all the way around from the foundation all the way to the top of the roof line. We also do insulation. We can actually remove all that contaminated insulation, sanitize it, and blow in new insulation throughout the whole attic. Same thing with the crawl space. If you open up a crawl space and you see a lot of rodent, droppings and things like that, we can actually come in, remove all that, old poly, sanitize, and lay in new poly too. So,
You guys from the dating station or Termidor, or both?
So we do both. It just depends really on the situation, whatever's going to be best for that house. If there's more liability on the home, maybe it's older than 2010, maybe it has a lot of conducive conditions for termite activity, then we'll use the liquid, but we can use the base stations as far as, I know if the house is trying to sell and get a nice quick bond on it, we'll figure out what's best for that situation.
And what areas do you cover?
We're covering a large area right now, North Atlanta all the way down to how far are we going out?
So
it's within a
And how far west?
we cover Cobb, Paulding.
North America.
Yes. Pretty much.
a lot of areas.
Perfect, thank you.
Yeah, no problem. All right.
Thanks, guys.
All right, no problem.
Glad you're aboard. Rat droppings? Those aren't rat droppings. Those are jelly beans. All right, so market. How's the market out there?
Getting bad.
Getting better. I agree. So, pretty much the same story from last week. For some reason, October, November seemed a little just a little bumpy in the wave. All of a sudden, pretty much Christmas Day forward, buyers are out. And pretty much aligned with that, stock market started improving, rates started going down, the world in Washington got maybe a little nuttier, not a lot less nutty, but so feels good out there. I look at I can look at 350 people at a time, and the volume is good. Also, this week you might notice, I will go ahead and predict, if it already hadn't happened, that your business will jump this week. Why? I'm a weatherman. You know I'm a weatherman. Why?
Warm.
Right. Cold to warm. Cold to warm. Okay. No different than when you were in high school. Spring fever. Right. You run around crazy. Same thing. Buyers buy emotionally. Correct. So we are crazy weather coming up. Yeah. I mean we're actually 60s, almost high 70s later this week. Right.
Today.
Right. That will affect people.
Turnout at open houses skyrockets when we have warm spells in the
So,
winter months.
Yeah, this is just gonna be, emotions will go high for buyers, that's when things happen, so you watch, it's gonna be, and this stays this way probably for at least 2 weeks. I mean, it really doesn't get super cold for a while, so, could be very good. On top of, yes?
Yeah, I always tell people that, Super Bowl Sunday is the end of the winter and the start of the spring season for the holiday. For the spring market. You know, a lot of consumers think it's really like April, May, but that's when everything, I think, really goes back to normal.
Well, you could be right, and what's weird is people don't remember, but same thing. Like January was frigid last year, and February was actually pretty warm. And it looks like it's almost lining up to be the same thing this year. So, and what kind of starts happening more and more every day in our buyer world? Well, reload, right, so you already know people that, well, I don't think high schools have sent out their letters who's getting in yet, right? So you're gonna have a lot more reload. Most buyers with kids wanna get in between the school years, right? So they need to start looking before to buy kinda April, May, June, July. So, you'll see a lot of more of that picking up also. So yeah, we're in a good spot right now. All right. Super Bowl completely confused everyone. All right, we had 2 different contests. No one could figure that out all weekend long. I didn't watch the Super Bowl. All I did was answer emails. People going, "I'm not in," and I'm like, "The other contest." So anyway, we had 2 contests. 2 contests we had. Okay, so the one that was free. No, we'll wait. That's Starkey. So the one that you put in. Certainty, yeah, $5 a square, so let's put that up, and this confused people, so this is the way it works if you've never done it. So all of you put in a square, right, you wrote your name? These numbers did not exist when you wrote them in, okay? Got it?
Yeah.
So once we filled it, we randomly picked out of a hat, Felicia, you can see these are random 0 through 9, 0 through 9.
Yeah.
And that's how it works. So it's 100% random, as it turns out. So the first quarter, what was the score?
3-3.
No, it wasn't.
3-0.
0-0. Okay, so 0-0. Pace won. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Halftime was 3-3.
Yeah.
It was 3-0. 0 for the Rams. Kevin Probst won. Third quarter, 3-3. McCarty's won. Fourth quarter, 13-3. Again, 3-3. McCarty's won. That's how it works.
That's amazing.
Got it?
Yeah.
But these are random. These numbers could have appeared anywhere. So,
Did the McCartys pick the numbers, though?
no. So, are the McCartys here? No.
Okay,
All right,
second place winner.
Goes back in the pot. You gotta be here. Yeah, but no one's here. Goes back in. Next year's Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Okay. Hey, Randolph, why don't you come up real quick? Don't do your spiel, but just, so the certainty contest, which was basically you pick the score, no cost to you to enter, and your best score, and the winner was the person, you had the first, who won? Who won the game?
Patriots.
Okay, so everyone has the Patriots still in. Okay, next, the closest score to the Patriots, which everyone was completely awful, right?
Close.
So, Tara Gaines had...
What was that score then?
13.
Well, Tara Gaines had 21, and so did Scott Morchower. So they both had the Patriots at 21, okay? So to tiebreaker third filter is what did the Rams have? And Tara was closer than Scott to the Rams.
Ernie! Where's Ernie? Who's there?
Ernie!
$2.
Tara Gaines.
Ernie's the only Patriots fan in the whole office.
Nothing wrong with that.
Okay,
all right, cool.
We're winning.
Oh,
Yeah.
I
There's
see
a McCarty in the group now.
In the back. There's McCarty back there.
I'm sorry, I was
No.
online shopping.
No,
gave
we
gave yours away.
We gave it, it's for Jim, actually. No, you can hand it to her. You can hand it to her. All right, so here's the gig. You're probably wondering what these are all for. So be thinking, do any of you consider yourself like a pretty good dancer?
Mm.
No, nobody?
Jake is.
Depends how many drinks we've
All right, so,
had.
yeah, definitely here. So here's what we're gonna do this at the end of the meeting. Region wants a 20-second dance video. Okay, we can all be in it, just kinda going crazy, but I think what they're gonna do is like at the regional awards banquet in New Orleans, when someone from our office wins, they're gonna show our video. Okay? So we are gonna play YMCA, okay? So whoever thinks they can dance, we'll dress you up near the front, but everyone will be in the video, okay?
Do we get a
But we're saying KWAP, right? There we go. We're Keller Williams, Atlanta Perimeter, KWAP. Okay, so at the end, raise your hand if you're a dancer.
Hey,
Like
you're-
If you sing a different song.
Let me rephrase. Not that you're a dancer, but you can dance.
She has a better idea for next week, she'll take it.
Okay, here we go. All right, let's go top producers. So, for the only month of the year, our top producers for January are actually our year-to-date top producers. There we go. So,
Interesting how that happens.
interesting. Top commercial agents. New name on the top, David Conrad. 2, Joe Cannon. 3, Eric Sapoznek. 4, J.M. Scott. 5, Lexi Turner. Rocky won't be able to stay on this. Top groups. We only had one do a deal in January. Alexander Group, number 1. Top teams, 2 and 2 only. RJ and Jim McCarty, Kara and Gary Gaines, Claudia Basato and Daniel Polito. 4, Deb and Michael Martino. And 5, Kathy and Bill Hawk. Congratulations. All right, individuals, we're going to go bottom to top. 15, Virginia Moran. 14, Kevin Probst. 13, John Cassane. 12, Brandon Atkins. 11, Ming Zhou. 10, Hans Heiser. 9, Liz Wellman. 8, Becky Veal. 7, Wade Morris. 6, Rob Carino. 5, Fran Morton. 4, Tia Moses. 3, Mike Culver. 2, Cynthia Pierce. And number 1, are you kidding me? She's already had a full year in 1 month.
Jeez.
That's incredible. You might be number 1 in the region, actually. Yeah, that's a big number. Big number. So anyone that needs to borrow a little money, dollars in the back. Prime plus 2, she says. Prime plus 2. All right. So let's talk a little listings with our productivity coach, Terry.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Just wanted to bring you some ideas on how to leverage your buyers to get listings from your buyers. How would you like that?
Great.
All right. So what about throw your buyers a meet your neighbor party? Want to know what that is? It's like a housewarming party for your buyers. So this is also a good way when you're doing your buyer consultation to let them know that you plan on doing that. And then you set the terms of who they're going to invite. Like if you want to just limit it to 20 people, then they could invite their friends and family to the party. And then you're going to also ask them permission to go and invite the neighbors so that they can meet the neighbors. You're going to be there at the party as well, hosting. And I would suggest get your lender involved and get your home inspector involved. Have gifts or gift cards to give away. Have your information. This is a great way to meet and get new people in your database. That's one way. Have the buyer allow you to put a sold sign in their yard for about 10 to 14 days after it closes, so that you're showing that you sell property, right? So the neighbors along the way can see that it's you.
You got to get permission from
Exactly. Written permission, exactly.
your buyer.
Absolutely. within 2 weeks of closing, I know I'm gonna get a lot of uhs on this one, however, send the other side of transaction a thank you card for making it a smooth transaction. You remember, because you've been part of that transaction, even though you might not have been the listing agent, you did represent, you may have been the listing agent and another buyer came, but you can be a part of thanking them because you're part of that transaction. So reach out to the other side. It's not unethical to do it. Buy season tickets to the Braves or the Atlanta Falcons, Atlanta United. Give a pair to the buyer at closing regardless of the side that they're on. You might want to wait a couple weeks and send that to them with your thank you card, but that's a great idea to get listings as well. Survey your buyers, right? So you can, for feedback, you can use SurveyMonkey, which is a very easy survey. Anybody familiar with SurveyMonkey? So you can set it up yourself and ask all kinds of questions, but if you're going to do it by mail and get a feedback, then be sure to include a self-addressed envelope, stamped, okay? What about sending pizza to the buyers on move-in day? Okay. You could also get with your local pizzeria and ask them, on the boxes that they're sending, that you put a flyer attached to the top of the box, that kind of thing too. So get some advertising in it as well. Create a brochure about the benefits of using you as a listing agent and take it to developers and builders, on-site agents. Create that relationship with them. Also go down to the county courthouse and pull building permits. Would that be a good thing to do? Pulling. Yes, thank you. Thank you.
Pulling building permits.
Thank you. All right. In order to see who has the building rights, and you can jump on them before someone else does. Okay. Join a wine tasting club. I know there's a lot of people in here that like to drink wine, right? So that's a fun way to get to know some more listings. Provide breakfast to your local fire station. All right. So, and how about teachers? Teachers always have a work day, meetings once a month, and so you could go and speak to the principal of the school and ask if you could just sponsor a breakfast one morning. Also, you can ask them if you could sit in the teacher's workroom for a couple hours during lunch. Teachers come in and out of the workroom and get their mail, and that's a great way to be able to talk to them and give them flyer and information. Also, police stations. Taking breakfast to police stations. Right? So, that's it. Any questions?
That's good idea.
Okay, awesome.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to back up a little bit on one idea there, okay? If it was me, if you're the listing agent that we mentioned with the buyer, I would not do that, okay? So, you're there representing the seller. I would not give anything to the buyer. I wouldn't send pizza to the buyer once they move in. If you gave Braves tickets to my buyer and you were the listing agent at the closing table, I would come across the table. And I'm a calm guy, okay? So I'm just saying, I think that's a bad move, okay? We're going to concentrate. If it's your buyer, we can do all that, okay? But I think we need to be very careful. If you want to be in this business long term, you do that and your listing won't be shown forever.
Yeah, to add to that, I think that as long as you are the smartest agent in the transaction and you outperform the other agent, whoever is on the other side of the table is going to notice that. I mean, then they'll call you next time, or they'll refer you. I've had that happen. So it's just really, bringing it to a better level.
Exactly, I totally agree. Okay, so Chad is teaching right after this, 11:30. Chad is teaching, 7 tips to get 10 listings in a month? 7 steps. Right. So Chad, y'all have indicated you love Chad, right?
Yeah.
Chad's fantastic. He's going to teach.
Yes, he is.
Wow.
Supersonic
hearing. Yeah, he is we're gonna teach, Chad's teaching every month this year. So I think this is gonna be very, very challenging. So, Chad, right after this, also, she wasn't here last week, but we do have a capper, meaning she's...
First-time capper.
First-time capper. And she has achieved her cap and now is 100%. Christina Fernandez. How long have you been doing this, Christina?
9 months.
There you go. It can be done, you new people. It can be done. There you go, 9 months. She's the natural. She can make anything she wants. Also, write on your calendar, so the 26th, the Tuesday the 26th, will be our 2018 awards banquet right here, okay? So that, instead of sales meeting, will be our awards banquet. Also, I'll send you this later on. Why don't you put up Gene's. So this was just, thank you, Charlie, and thank you, Clax. They sent, anytime you see stuff good, send it to me, because I'm going to send it out to everyone. We all share information. We all want good touches. We all want good info for ourselves and our database. So, pretty good gig. Yeah, Gene is interviewed and answers these questions. So, we'll send you this right after sales meeting, but read through it. Pretty cool to get that sort of recognition in the Business Chronicle. Okay? All right, let's talk a little... Now, let's go, Randy. Come on, you guys. Certainty Home Loan. Hello! It's Certainty.
Thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning. I think I talked a couple of weeks ago about taxes, so everybody should be getting their tax returns in about now. If you're working with self-employed borrowers, now is the time to get with your lending professionals to see what their tax returns look like. If you're concerned about qualifications, the self-employed people, we do need at least 1 year's tax returns. Now, does that mean they can be in business for 1 year, self-employed? No. They have to be in business for more than 1 year, but if they've been in business for at least a couple years, we can get away with using the most recent year's tax returns, whether that be 17s or 18s, which is a situation that they need to talk with their lender about. Okay? So, other than that, we also have a renovation seminar coming up. I know a lot of you guys, this is somebody from our corporate office that handles the renovations. Becky, I know you were at the last one and you thought it was extremely good, yes?
Awesome.
Okay, this guy is coming back. His name is Jim Nunn. He's going to be right here in our office doing that. You can get CE credit for it, and that is going to be March 4th, whatever that Monday is. So I want to make sure we get that out there, and he's going to discuss all of our renovation products in detail.
What time?
I think we have it set up for 11 to 1, I believe. I'm not positive.
Yes.
Yes.
It's March 4th, 11 to 1. It's already
That was
on the
right.
calendar.
And it's CE?
Pardon?
And it's CE?
You can get CE for it, yeah.
2 hours?
If you choose.
If you choose. Yeah, yeah. We'll talk about that later. All right, any questions on that? No? Matt?
I'm just excited about the carpet. Kind of made my day.
Well, let's talk about that. So, yeah, pretty slick carpet paint. We're coming down the home stretch. I feel like I'm the most logistical person in the world, but
The girls?
thank you, Felicia and Diane. Just to have everything out and in and proper went off without a hitch. These guys were here till like 8, 9 o'clock. So thank you. Yeah.
Real quick,
before we leave, rates, conventional's about 4.75. No, I got that backwards. Conventional is 4.875 and FHA is around 4.75, so.
But they're kind of holding steady.
Yeah.
They're kind of holding steady, so, depending on the day and the global news, they're, ticking up, ticking down, so, my bet, I think, still looking good for this year.
And I see a lot of new faces, so if anybody wants to come meet with one of us and just kind of get the basics of what you should know, what you should, not what you shouldn't know, what you should know when you're talking to new clients, we sit right next to Brad, so come and snag us if you want to sit down and grab a cup of coffee or something.
So hang on a second. So, Bill, what color shirt do guys wear on Tuesday?
Pink.
Blue. John, what color?
Blue. White. Pink.
Scott?
Blue.
Marty?
Blue.
There you go.
He didn't get the memo.
Come on, man. Pink and purple on Wednesday. Come on. Come on. Hey, come on.
Real men wear pink.
Come on.
I like pink. I'm going to pink tomorrow.
I try so hard. Okay. So, let's talk, I think we talked last week, I think I drew this for you. So, there's 40 known ways to sell real estate, okay? Many, many ways. Open houses. You can farm a geographical area. You can build a website that's search engine optimized that people go to. You convert them to clients. For sale by owners, expireds, apartment complexes have one printing, on and on and on. But the fastest and the furthest and the lowest hanging fruit is working a database of people that know you, like you, trust you. Everyone here should be working a database. You might pick one or two others. Okay? So, the way this works is this. Let's just say you have 500 people in your database, don't you? There you go. Okay, so Marion has 500. These are not equal. These people are not of equal value, okay? And the key is really this first 10 to 25 people. And we talked about this last week. If you can get 10 to 25 people who give you 2 to 10 deals a year, that's a major career. I mean, game over, okay? I'm talking deals, you come out of the sales meeting, you get your phone, hey Brad, this is Bob, RJ said you were great, I need to buy a house, okay? No competition, right? Just go over and do it, okay? This is a very special group here, okay? We do special things for them. We got Braves tickets, we do take these people. We take these people to state dinners, okay? So, how do we get these people? How do we turn them into these people? Well, you have this right in front of you. So, this book kind of came to me by accident, okay? Our number one agent, you've read a lot of it, right? Yeah. You like it, right? Yeah. Right. So, it's by a guy named Mo Bunnell called The Snowball Effect. And believe it or not, he is my next door neighbor. And I didn't even know he was a writer. I knew he was a top businessman. But this is a significant book. Okay, so this book is really about developing, it's business development. How do you do that in a relational way? So, just exactly, these people are, at this point, raving fans. Okay? Everywhere they go throughout their day, church, school, family, Bravesgate, Target, they hear real estate, they make a passionate plea. You got to use Virginia. She's incredible. She saved me 25 times. You got to, okay? That's what we're looking for, right?
Virginia.
And how much are we paying these people?
Lots of love.
Right, zero. You have a sales force for free. So, Mo actually, and you have it here, this is the steps to relationship, okay? This is it, okay? So, let's read through this. Virginia, read target for me. So, we start out, someone's a target. They're not even in our database.
Your next step is to get an introduction or otherwise offer them something so valuable that they feel compelled to connect.
Okay, so these are people that we have, actually, that isn't the next step, the full thing wasn't done. Read that, read target.
The next step.
Target,
All the way down?
no, just target.
Target.
It's the same thing.
No, it isn't, it's different.
You just need to hear
Not
it twice.
not everything.
I don't know what a BD relationship is.
There we go. This is
Target,
someone.
this is someone you want to know but don't. Your next step is to get an introduction or otherwise offer them something so valuable, careful there, that they feel compelled to connect.
Okay.
That's wonderful.
So this is somebody that we feel like we want to be in relationship, that we are not. And how do we get in relationship with them? Okay? And I agree. I think we're looking to offer something of value to connect.
So valuable.
So what would that be for you?
It would have to be, I don't,
Money?
tickets or something.
Well, no, in your neighborhood, somebody, I mean, what could you do?
Vendors, contractors are very valuable.
Okay, what else?
Rate of sales in the neighborhood.
Invite them for a beer or something.
Okay.
Yeah.
All these are possible. We're looking for ways to connect with people just to get on the radar. Okay, put this back up if you would, Diane.
Which one?
Do you have this whole page? Okay. Second is acquaintance. They've moved to now an acquaintance. This is someone you've met, but that's about it. It can be a big deal to get here, but you haven't discussed what to do, so the next step is to create curiosity about your expertise, right? I've always said this business is no different than dating, right?
This turns it into speed dating.
But no, sometimes this is a longer process, okay? So I think now it's changed. When I was a kid, it was guys had a target. Wow, Deb sure looks cute. Okay? Now it's both ways, right? So I want to meet this girl, I want to meet this guy, right? So I have to do something to make that happen, okay? So at this point, we are trying to create curiosity. I'm telling you, read through this multiple times. If you want to make this happen, you got to make these steps happen. I think a lot of people, if they're not working a big database or making this happen, they're not following these steps. This is how it has to happen. How are we going to turn somebody? They're curious about what we do. Okay. Step 3, they're a curious skeptic. They're interested in learning more, but also skeptical whether we're needed. Maybe they think their needs are covered or there's an easier or better way still out there. The next step is typically to offer a give to get so they can get a glimpse of the value you offer. How would you do that? And maybe this is all first time you've ever even thought this stuff, right?
Free CMA?
Yeah.
Could be. What else? I mean, we're trying to show what we do. Right? What else?
List of vendors is helpful always. I think the one we have is a good one. And you probably could add to that, but you always need people. You know, things break down in the house. Try to send them that.
What else? Come on.
I think you just pay attention to, what they're speaking about and be intentional in regards to listening to what they may need or what they're seeking and offer them something of value like that. So it's not like one particular thing. It could be they need a mechanic. So it's just, building a relationship.
There you go.
Intentional.
Listen to what they need, correct?
Yeah.
What's the highest way I can create value in what I do?
Listen to us.
Knowledge.
For you to
Right? I would say the easiest for me is you bring me a screwed up deal or situation, and I solve it.
Free advertising.
Right? Correct?
Yeah.
Yes.
Right. It's funny, I go to team leader meetings, the whole region, people complain about this. Other team leaders complain about people coming to them with problems. It's my ultimate. Right. I do, right? Same thing with you. How do you equate this to your clients? Okay? Something that's messed up or broken, or you can fix it or do it better, right?
Okay, so I've noticed with farming my neighborhood that a lot of mailboxes need repairs. So I've contacted someone at Ace Hardware to find out if they have a referral that we can do, and I'm going to send out a flyer to everyone. If you need your numbers redone, if you need a new mailbox, if you need a new post, here's the date we're going to do it, and you can get a free quote that day, and then work with. So it's just something I noticed with handing out all these different flyers and different things. So.
There you go. What else? What Rachel? Rachel has a very good one. What do you do? What do you do? What? You're very good at it. What do you do?
Write notes.
What?
Handwritten notes?
No! What? Come on.
I didn't really know the question.
So, what Rachel is great at is she has a real skill for, here's your house, and it looks pretty average, and here's a visual of what I can do to make it look better, right? Are we showing our value? Okay, we got to pay attention to what people need. Okay, now we've turned them into a new client. Actually, this is where most people probably fail. We're not at this point yet, okay? This is someone who has taken a chance on hiring you for an initial paid project, meaning you're now their buyer's agent or listing agent. But the relationship is still untested and fragile, correct? Doing a great job is important, but not sufficient. You'll want to learn about the client's future goals so you can help them in bigger ways. The next step is ongoing engagement or other projects. Okay? So realize that. If we're going for that, someone that raves about me wherever I go, it's not just that I've listed their property. It's a great step. But one, we need to kill that job, right? We need to do incredible, but we're already beginning to prove we're worth way more than I'm just your listing agent. Because what we're trying to get to is that we're their advisor, right? Okay, next step, solid working relationship. This is someone who trusts you to do certain types of work, but the relationship hasn't transcended the paid work. Your value is still limited to the paid work you perform. We see a lot of professionals plateau at this level because they think they can stop investing in the relationship at this point. It's all relationship. But when you only provide value specifically for what you're paid to do and not more broadly, you can box yourself into being a commodity. You can easily be replaced. The next step is to continue to add value in new areas outside of what you're paid to do, especially those that are aligned with the client's personal and business priority. Does that make sense? Yeah. Okay, I think that's where we all fall down, right? Next is loyal client. And I just throw these out. This is not what I meant to type. There's a lot more, so I'm going to resend you this. Loyal client, the relationship is no longer limited to the specific work at hand. Your client now sees you as what business expert David Masters called a trusted advisor, someone who helps a client outside of what he is specifically paid to do. The client calls you for advice on important topics. These above and beyond interactions are some of the most valuable ways you can help clients. Okay? How many of you, like, people call you for, ask you what restaurant to go to? There you go. I mean, that's what we're shooting to do, right? Okay. And last is a raving fan. All we need is 10 to 25. It's a big career. These are people who love your helpfulness and your work so much that they can't help but tell everyone who would benefit from knowing you. This is the goal in every important relationship. Raving fans become your personal sales force. the next step at this level is to ask the client to introduce you to even more people who would benefit from knowing you. You're a vital part of the client's past and future success. Good?
Yeah.
So this is what we're doing. I think a lot of people aren't even seeing the steps involved here. And we're constantly, throughout our day, my day, I'm in probably multiple times at all 7 levels with different people, right? This is the key. If we want this, there is a dance step to this. There's a proper way to do this. Okay? I'll resend this with what I read to you. It's important. All right? Always on your phone. I know it's time.
It's the only way to call on me.
There you go. Renee Dillon, Gannett. What's happening in the attorney world?
Good morning. Good morning. I'm so glad that I have so many raving fans here in this room. We are so lucky. So today my topic is, most of you guys have taken a contract class with Lynn and me, correct? Yeah. So you may have heard this before, but what are the 3 letters that I hate the most on a contract? TBD. Yeah. So it comes up in a couple of places. It comes up in the closing attorney section, which I hate. Don't ever let that be there. Just put in Gannett PC Renee Dillon. It comes up, the easiest one to fix. It comes up with the legal description, TBD, to be attached later. Don't ever do that. Have to have the legal attached at the time you go under contract. But we are now starting to see a lot of sellers putting TBD into the community association disclosure, trying to get out of paying those initiation and transfer fees that they don't know. We had a closing last week where it was a big fight between the listing agent, selling agent. Don't accept a closing association disclosure, or whatever they're calling it now. Don't accept one that has TBD put in any of the boxes. Make the seller fill it out, make them put numbers in. Debbie was able to bully the listing agent and seller into paying for the fees that they didn't disclose, but a lot of times that's not going to be the case. The listing agent was fighting back really hard that because they put the TBD in, that they didn't disclose it. Yeah, they didn't have to pay.
So sometimes that just isn't practical. We had a STIP from you that overrode the exhibit. Would it override the exhibit?
Using the STIP in, yeah.
So maybe we should be prepared to do that in the event we can't get the information.
Can't get it fixed.
Yeah.
Yeah, and sometimes, I know, go ahead.
So the point though is now, because I always use that tip, is that the HOAs won't talk to the buyer or the buyer's agent. So you really have, I told this one guy, I said, you're going to pay it, you've got to make the phone call, it's your association. Not theirs yet, and they won't talk to them. So you really have to.
But that just reiterates, if you put it as a STIP, that it is the seller expense.
Right.
Oh,
yeah.
When you're writing it as a buyer.
Oh, you're as a buyer.
Yes, because I do realize that, they send these disclosures to you, you're wanting to go under contract, you're not waiting until they get back revised ones. So in that case, yes, you probably want to put in a STIP that says seller is to pay any fees not disclosed.
I had one yesterday from the seller that he thought they had to pay $400 or something, the new buyer would have to pay welcome to the neighborhood fee. But he called and asked, and they said, well, no, they did away with it. And he goes, but another question she answered was wrong. He said, well, she's wrong. I said, well, then you have to pay it.
Yeah.
And he goes, oh. I said, right. He goes, what if I just put in there $400 and it's not? What happens then? I said, then they don't have to pay it.
And that's happened a lot of times. People have called up.
You're better off putting over disclosed on the fee than
and people have called up and gotten incorrect information from whoever's answering the phone. My advice is to get it in writing, at least at that point. If they disclose it to you incorrectly in writing, you can fight them on it and get the HOA to cover it because they didn't disclose it correctly. I know that's happened to a couple of people. But these HOAs, they continue to be a problem, so just another thing to watch out for.
Would it be better, would another option possibly be to have the seller just go ahead and pay for a closing letter up front if we're going to...
Well, they're required to do it anyway.
Right, so you would get all the information at that point in time, and so when it comes to that disclosure, you would know
Yeah, but those closing letters, like unless the seller has requested it, you know, at the time of listing, like when you take the listing, I mean, they take like 10 business days to get back sometimes. So you don't want that sitting out there while you're under contract for 10 days. You know, and it may be something that listing agents are trying to get their sellers to do, you know, ahead of time now to save money. Because, I mean, we're seeing sellers eating money left and right. We had one seller that ended up being upside down because paying for initiation fees.
But aren't they only good for, what, 30 days?
They are, I mean, with a condo it's tricky because that changes every month, but for the most part, if it's something that is a quarterly or an annual payment, we can update it. It's a lot easier to get an update and cheaper to get an update than it is to pay a rush fee or to pay the initiation fee.
So they will talk to you to get an update?
Yes. Sometimes they will actually give it to us verbally. There's been some turnover at some of the management companies, so we don't have as good a contact as we used to, but the update fee is usually, you know, $75 as opposed to a rush fee of $150 or transfer fee of $500.
And then get reimbursed at closing, or are you going to ask the seller to go back again?
I mean, we're going to ask the seller to do it, but I mean, depending on the transaction, I mean, if it's, you know, if we're pretty confident at closing, you know, we may pay that. I mean, we try not to front any HOA fees just because, you know, they're exorbitant and we can't eat them if it doesn't close. Any other questions? All right, yes.
Well, when and where is that STIP located, the one that you provided?
Which one?
About the HOA.
About the HOAs? I don't know, we sent that out a while ago, I feel like, or somebody sent that out.
We'll get it.
We can get it resent.
Thank you.
Okay.
And Renee, while you're up here.
Yes.
What are you doing for us Thursday morning at 10?
What am I doing? I have a mock closing, right, at my office at 10 o'clock. So mock closing is great for if you're in Ignite or if you're a newer agent. It is, I go over the settlement statement pretty in-depth. I mean, I give you an idea of what it's like to actually come to a closing. If you haven't been to a lot of closings or if you haven't been to one in a while, I really go over the settlement statement in depth, and most people find that to be the
very valuable.
It's a lot of good information. It's at our office, 10 a.m. on Thursday, so I hope to see a lot of you there.
And next Tuesday, after team meeting, you and Lynn.
Yes. Are we doing 102? Yes. Contract 102. We'll go over. We don't really hit on the purchase and sale agreement as much. We go over more of the exhibits and addendums, and Matt doesn't know it, but he'll probably pop in and talk about the financing contingencies.
I'd love to.
Thanks, Matt. And that's a good one too. You know, especially if you're a newer agent. You know, we look at contracts every single day. You guys don't necessarily do it, so we go pretty in depth on it. And Lynn, of course, is always a wealth of information. So, hope to see y'all Tuesday or Thursday.
Thank you, Renee. So troubled closings, almost 100% of the time, are from lack of communication, right? There's been something not represented, something misrepresented. It's really good to try to avoid that situation, okay? You can put in so much work and so much goodwill and so much time, and unfortunately, the last impression of this whole deal is that hour at closing, and if stuff's messed up, it just doesn't feel good. So we really need to over communicate, and as Sean always said, the best agent does the deal. That's just the way it is, okay? Many agents out there are going to be inferior to you. It's not, it doesn't do any good, it doesn't help the deal to say, gosh, you're crummy, you're inferior to me. We're not going to get anywhere, okay? Just do the deal in a nice way. Remind them, okay? If it's our buyer and they say there's no homeowner association, I wouldn't just accept that, right? I'm going to do all my due diligence to even help the other side, even keep up with their time frame to make sure, have you done this, have you done this, have you done this, in a nice way, okay? It's great when deals just, the closing table goes smoothly, there's no surprises, okay? And we gotta know what we know and what we don't know, and ask if you don't. Example, before sales meeting day, Jessica Schulte called me up. She has a buyer about to put an offer in on a lake property, okay, like Lake Lanier property. Okay, you gotta know when things are, there's different things about a lake property, right? What's different about a lake property? Exactly. The things that are different are deep water and dock permits. Exactly. We miss all that, you're probably going to court. So, just know, ask people, okay? And we are the smartest people. We know more, we continually learn. Okay, so are you ready with loud music of our song? Who wants to be kind of toward the front, dressed up and dancing? Who can dance? Come on, Karen. Who else? Come on, Matt. You can dance. Bjorn, come on. Come on.
Yeah, we need our vendors.
Come on. All right, come on, Ray. Come on. Come on, hurry up. We got to do this quick. There we go. Pick any hat. Come on, Matt. Come on, Renee. Come on. Eric, come on. Come on. Here, Karen. Pick a hat. Pick some glasses. Hey, Anna Corley, you can dance. Come on. Come on. Here we go. Charlie, can you dance? Haas, I know you can dance. Let's go. Hey, Jenny, come on. Come on. John, stay in here for a minute. Just stay in. Come on, dude. Who else? Stacey, there you go. All right, so here. No, you're back this way. Here we go. We're on this side. Who's got it? Yeah, you got your phone, Stacey?
Yes.
Okay, on this side. We're this side. There we go. We're here. We're out here. Everyone's right in here. Right in here. We're facing. Everyone that's dancing is facing toward the front. There we go. Stacy, you're this way. You're at the front.
I'll face to the back then.
Okay. There we go. We're all this way.
Sorry.
Okay. You're facing this way. Everyone stand up. Okay, we're all going to scream as loud as we can. Okay? All right, so remember, hey, this is KWAP. Just do it the best you can. Keller Williams, Atlanta Perimeter. Stacy, you're filming. You gotta get rid of it. All right, here we go. Let's do a practice run. All right, here we go. As loud as you can. Here we go.
How do I make a K?
Don't start filming yet. Listen. That's it. Okay. Okay, y'all ready? Quiet. Here we go. This is the real one. All right, just do the KWAP the best you can. Turn it up loud. Here we go. Okay, here we go. Well done.